we're going to be doing educational blogging, and so the question is, well, what's educational blogging? What's a good educational blog? And I'll use this example from Victoria at Eleanor Roosevelt High School in New York City. Why do I think this is a good educational blog post? Well, there are a number of reasons why. Um, Her avatar to begin with is not a copyrighted image. She made that herself, so that's a good start right there. So I guess one thing we want to keep in mind is that we don't use copyrighted materials. When we use things from other people, we always cite those sources as long as those are allowable sources. So in this one, what I like about it, it begins with what's that color, and she starts, have you ever wondered how the color in your clothes got there? So I like this also because it begins with inquiry. She's interested in a subject, and she's going to find out about it and post about it. We have an image here. It's not cited up here, but it's cited down below. So I think, again, another hallmark of good educational blogging is both text and other multimodal elements. So in this case, we've got text and then photo. And then if we go down, we've got all these little steps, and here's how you add dye to clothes and things. Another nice image here. And so I feel like I've learned how to put color in my clothes, and that's kind of answered the question of how we dye clothes. And then also down here we've got the citation. So we link directly to the image, and it's from Flickr's Creative Commons portion, so it is allowable to use. And so is the other image. And so always cite where you get your information, and that's fine. And then also we've got keywords down here that link me to other people who might be interested in color, for instance. And so, yeah, a number of things make this a good educational blog post. So that's the kind of writing we're going to be doing in my class this year. This is what I call educational blogging. Here's an example from a student from my class in the fall of 2007, a ninth grader at Judge. He's writing about global warming. The title of this post is Why I'm Interested in Global Warming. First thing you're going to see is a snippet of an article that came from ABC News, and this is Australian Broadcasting Corporation, that he encountered when he was looking through his Google Reader. The next section right here that starts, here's a podcast explaining why I'm interested in global warming, is an audio recording that he had explaining his inquiry. The third part is an image that is also cited. It comes from Flickr, Flickr misspelled there, but it comes from Flickr, and it comes from the Creative Commons part of Flickr. So again, he's cited that, and if I clicked on that, I would go right to that gallery in Flickr. So this blog post is a good example of someone who's interested in a topic, who pulls from a few different sources, his reading, and an image that supports it, and then also his own audio recording about that too. So where do you find an image like this that is allowable to use in educational blog posts? A lot of people start with Google, and you'd do an image search, and then you'd type in global warming and search the image. And you'd find a lot of images, but things like, here's something from Encyclopedia Britannica, which is a copyrighted image, and that's not allowed. So what you need to do is search for Creative Commons images, and a really good spot to do that is a place called copyrightfriendly.wikispaces.com. And you'll see a page like this. So there are some nice little introductions to the concept of Creative Commons images and Creative Commons media. And then there are all these links to places that supply these Creative Commons images. So let's look at Flickr for a second, because that's where this student, if you remember, he found his on Flickr. And if I go to Flickr Creative Commons, I'll see that there are these different types of licensing agreements. And really the one that is my favorite is the one that's by. And that means that you let others copy, distribute, display, and perform your copyrighted work and derivative works based upon it, but only if they give you credit. So all we need to do, if we use something that uses this type of Creative Commons licensing, is just say where we got it. And that makes things really easy. And as you can see, there are 6.5 million photos in this particular grouping. So if I click here and say see more, and not here, because this is searching everyone's photos, and remember I'm just in this part of Creative Commons, or in this part of Flickr, the Creative Commons part, that's just the ones that are this by symbol, which means I can use it, and all I have to do is just say where I got it. So let's say I put in my global warming search here. These are all images that these photographers or artists have said, go ahead and use these images, it's okay by me, and they're allowable. So if I go down this page just a little bit, you'll see that, lo and behold, there's the photo that the student used for his blog post. So it's in this part of Creative Commons of Flickr that says you can use it as long as you say it's by someone, as long as you attribute the source. And so that's why this is a legitimate use of that image. Picture the proof of global warming, he says, from Flickr, Suzanne and Simon, that gallery. And so that is allowable under Creative Commons image licensing. One of the things we want to use when we make our posts in blogging is a thing called tags. These are these little words down here at the bottom that are also called keywords that turn into links if other people have written about the same thing. So for instance, in Maggie's post, she writes about one of the big issues she feels that's going on today, and that is human trafficking. So if I were to click on one of these links here, I would be connected to people who've also written about things like slavery or the government or economics. So the use of tags allows us to connect to other people with similar interests. Let's say I go to the main page and I just type in the word politics. Okay, so I'm going to search for anyone who has interests in politics, anyone who likes politics, anyone who lists as dislikes, so they don't like politics, so I know maybe not to talk politics with those people. And then I would also find people who've actually written about politics. So what I'm showing you now is other users with weblog posts in the category of politics, and a couple ones I'll point out are right here. Here's one of my students in Salt Lake, and then here's one of Susan's students in New York City. So let's say I'm going to go to Mercedes' post about politics, and she wrote about will poverty ever end, which is a really good topic to be thinking about, and she has a nice chart in there. So notice the multimodal kind of element. She's got the text, she's got a poverty rates chart, and she cites the source there of her information. And then also you see, oh, there's that link about politics there, that if I click that, I would see that screen that I just showed you. But interestingly enough, it also in there, one of my students must have been looking for politics, and she is here. Again, my student talks about minimum wages, and now she's connecting with the writer in New York City about her interest in politics. So tags have a way of connecting us to people who are also interested in those things that we are. Now, in my own profile, I've got a thing called tags here, and what I can do here is I click on the things that I've tagged, and that gives me kind of a visual view of the kinds of things that I write most about. The book 1984, I've done a couple posts on that. Christmas, Google kinds of things, journalism, memories, music, podcasts, radio, school. It kind of sums up me, really, when you think about tags, and if you blog for a while, the things that pop up most in your tags would be the things that probably would define you pretty well. So use tags, and there are ways to connect you to other people with similar interests, and then the whole community aspect of the social networking site might become even stronger. And then how do I actually put tags on my posts? Some people might be asking, especially if you're new to this site. Once I've logged in, there's a little button here that says Your Blog, which is my blog. And if I were to click on there, I will see the things I've already posted about. So lately we've done some radio shows, holiday shows in class. But if I hadn't posted anything here yet in this site, there wouldn't be anything here, but I could always post a new entry. So you want to post a new entry, and as you post a new entry, you always want to make sure you have a title and some information that you're writing about, and then this is where you add your tags. And you separate them by commas, so it would be like my inquiry, interests, whatever it is you're writing about. So in the cases that I've talked about already, so like politics would be one. And finally, access restrictions. The default is logged in user, so the only people who would read my post here would be someone who's actually logged into the site, which would be about the other 1,500 people or so who are using this site right now. I can change that. I personally make things public when I post them because I want people to read it. And then there is a private function which sometimes I might save things in draft form, and I haven't really released them yet, and so that's why I might use private. I wouldn't want to put private information on the internet, so that may be a bit of a misnomer there. Like, you don't post things on the World Wide Web if you really want to keep them private. So private to me, I always think is more like just draft form. Could be wrong about that. But anyway, that's how you make posts, and especially put tags on every post, and this is how you control who reads your stuff.